to fix it and flip it. The current real estate market is ripe for rehabbing. If you want to learn how to buy the right property at the right price and learn how to project and control costs, then you've come to the right place. Our host, Tony Raffin, is from the #1 Rematch team in southeastern Michigan, and Kevin McClellan is Mr. Flipper Extraordinaire. Now, let's welcome Tony and Kevin. This is Fix It and Flip It.
Morning, Tony.
Morning, Kev.
How are you?
Feeling better than you.
Yeah, I know. Allergies. Allergies are MFer.
Oh, yeah.
You got bad allergies?
No. You know what's really weird? I never had an allergy problem until I used to have a tire store in 1985.
What have you not done?
I owned a tire and auto repair shop in 1985. 85 or 85, 87. 85. 83 through 85.
Okay.
So we had a tire store, and the rubber dust is what triggered allergies for me.
Oh.
Otherwise, never.
From what? Taking the tires and putting them on, putting them off, or rubbing? Or
Whatever. Just having. We had a warehouse. We were wholesalers, so we had a warehouse with
probably just the dust in general. In
just
that
the
place.
dust from,
Nasty.
but the rubber dust was brutal. And then all of a sudden, I started getting these allergies, and my partner said to me, he goes, "Yeah, the rubber dust usually triggers them." And what are you talking about? And then he started explaining the rubber dust, how, you'll just make you more sensitive to this and that. And I don't know why, but whatever it was, then I started having allergy issues. But I've been pretty good lately, honestly. Take my vitamins. I
feel good.
Eat my spinach.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll go from rubber dust. That's tough to say. Rubber dust.
Rubber dust.
Rubber dust to houses.
So we're dieting now, so if I'm in a moody mood,
who's
I'm
we?
sorry. Me and my wife.
Yeah. What's that consist of?
You know what?
A lot of exercise?
It's a cool diet.
Yeah.
A little bit of exercise, not a lot. It's actually a 500 calorie a day diet.
500. Come on.
It's HCG diet. Yeah, it's human chorionic gonadotropin is the key. It mimics your body being pregnant. No, I'm telling you the truth. Mimics your body being pregnant.
I can find it humorous.
Man or a woman, and basically what it does is it sends a signal for your body to take the glucose in your blood, and because it'll mobilize your visceral fat, turn it into glucose, puts it in your blood, and then uses the caloric deficiency. So even though you think you're only absorbing 500 calories, you're actually probably absorbing 3,000 calories, but 2,500 are from fat. Where a normal diet, what would happen is your body shuts down and saves the fat and saves it. The first thing that goes is muscle. Muscle is always the first thing that deteriorates. So with the HCG, you're bored already. Skinny people don't give a shit.
I was wondering how long we're going to go on this, and then I'm wondering, are you going to be 150 pounds next show? 500 calories a day. I'm worried about you.
I'll be all right.
You gonna be okay?
I have an app called Fitness. Oh, do you like my coffee cup?
Yeah.
For those of you who are watching, work fucking harder.
Stop complaining and whining and just work harder.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger used to say it. Stop whining.
Stop whining.
Stop whining. Yeah, so that's it's really not that bad. I find myself more compulsive eating. The majority of my food eating is compulsive. If I'm driving down the street and you see a Taco Bell, you're thinking, "Oh, Taco Bell's healthy." No, it's not. What the hell are you talking about?
No.
I mean, there's certain things that you can pick through and what have you, but sour cream and cheese is not freaking good for you. So, I think the majority of it is keeping my food logged. So I'm logging my food every day, what I eat, how I eat, when I eat.
What kind of liquids are you taking in?
18 of these yesterday.
Wow.
Waterlogged. Lost 6 pounds from yesterday to today, but everybody's like, "You can't lose 6 pounds." Yes, you can. A gallon of water weighs 8 pounds, and if you lose a quart, that's 2 pounds. So I lost 3 quarts of water yesterday. Didn't lose fat, but the whole idea is the water flushes the toxins out of your body and the fats out of your body. So it makes you aware of it, and I need to be. After the car accident I had in January, being sedated, not being able to go to the gym, and you know me, I was always a gym guy. I always went to the gym, and then one thing leads to the other. Before you know it, you got to start strengthening yourself. You got to start feeling better, and so anyways. on to today's
Hey,
discussion.
rubber dust, glycogen, and
Rubber dust, glycogen, and HCG. Yeah, so
Okay.
we're going to start the new Fix It and Flip It body shaping program.
Yeah.
That'll be
Yeah. If you're not into houses, maybe you're into losing weight.
hey, whatever. We're here to help.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it is. We're
Full lifestyle.
yes, absolutely.
Full lifestyle.
So you guys look at
podcast.
me today. We'll see what happens next week. I'll be down to nothing.
Yeah. I mean, at this rate, you should lose 20 pounds by next week. So I'm excited for you.
Maybe 10, but
Yeah.
I'll be, if I can lose 10 pounds the first week, I'll be very, very happy. But the whole idea is people that lose weight quickly usually gain it back quickly.
Oh, yeah.
I did this diet back in 2007, and I went from 297 pounds
Wow.
to 235 pounds in 43 days. And I kept it off for the majority of 9 years, and then you get married, you start eating a little bit
easy,
more.
easy, careful.
My wife cooks good.
Yeah.
What can you say? You
Watch
know?
yourself.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not because it's because of the food, baby. Because of the food.
Yeah.
So, anyways, today's we're going back to basics again, and part 2 of question and answer of people calling in, and I might as well start with you.
Yeah. We had a ton of questions. I think we got to a couple of them last show.
We got through like 6 questions. That's
Yeah.
about it. So, one of the big things is people in our industry want to know, and this is and people that are asking us, what point do you determine if a property is going to be a fix and flip or a buy and hold as a rental? Where do you decide that?
Yeah, so I think that's going to differ upon any investor that you talk to. A lot of these questions, a lot of things in general in real estate investing is really going to come down to the individual investor, right? How they do the house, whether they add a bedroom or not, put an addition on or not, full renovation or carpet and paint. But since you're asking me, I'll answer. In terms of my,
I mean, and the reason I guess I'm gonna go to the person who who asked this question, CF from Chesterfield.
ICF. We
Oh,
don't want to
ICF.
give out names.
Okay, yeah. ICF from Chesterfield. One of the things that I say is because I look up to you at this is your discipline. So with discipline comes rules. So where are your rules and how do you set them? I guess would
Yeah, I
probably be
mean,
it.
so to answer that question is me personally, 99 times out of 100, because I think there's been one property that I was going to keep as a rental, then decided to flip. 99% of the time I go in, I've identified the property as whether it's a flip or a rental, hold it in the portfolio, right? And that's just based on the potential change in value that I can make in the home, the potential profit margin, whether it's an investable area, whether it's an area that I can really jump that from my acquisition price into my after repair value, whether that spreads there to make it worth the while, whether it's an area where people are going and getting mortgages and actually where I can pull top dollar per square foot for the home. So really for me as an investor, if I'm looking for a rental, I know the area I want to buy rentals. I know the cap rate that I want or your ROI, whatever. They're similar. We've gone over that.
It's very similar, yeah.
So I know how much, for me, I know about how much I want to have tied up capital in a rental, knowing I'm going to get $800 to $1,000 a month in rent. I know that I don't want to pay any more than $40,000 to $50,000 all in for that property. So it's easy for me because my rentals are all very structured and the same. I got an investor buddy who's got a 2-bedroom house in South Warren that's a rental, and then he's got a 4-bedroom house in Harrison Township by the lake that's a rental property, a $700 rental and a $1,700 rental. So he's a little different. He'll buy something, and we're going to have him on the show, my buddy Dan. He'll buy something, and depending on where his crews are at, depending on where his cash flow is, depending on how the rest of his rental properties are going, sometimes he'll flip it. Sometimes he'll put a little money into it and hold it for a year or two and then sell it.
Take a long-term capital gain.
Yeah,
on
it helps.
instead of
It
a
helps
short-term.
defer the short-term capital gain costs. So, but strictly for me, I go into a property already knowing whether it's a possible area where I'm going to flip or it's an area where I want to buy rentals and the price point. So it really comes down to area and price point to answer the question are the two things that help me determine whether it's a flip or a rental property.
So the variables are bigger, but those are the two main things that
sure,
you go
there's
to.
a ton of areas, but those are the main ones.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
let's see. Here's a good one for Tony, since he's so kind of upfront and opinionated.
Ooh.
I'm going to add 2 questions together, and then I'll let you talk like you do best. How do you? Oh, I did. Is this,
No, did you say
is
that?
this on?
Tourette syndrome? I'm sorry for anybody with Tourette syndrome, but boy, that was a hurtful one.
I'm going to ask this question to take a nap. Part A of A and B.
Okay.
How do you deal with pain in the ass / difficult clients, whether owner occupant or investors? Difficult clients. How do you handle them? Maybe educate some of our younger realtors that are listening. Do you ever say no to a potential client who wants you to sell their home or submit a purchase agreement for them? And if so, why? Do you always take a client on? Do you ever say no? And how do you deal with pain in the ass clients? I don't know which one you want to tackle first.
They both go hand in hand.
Sure, that's why I
They
combined both of them.
They both go hand
I
in
kind
hand.
of saw that and made that executive decision, Tony.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Hey,
All right, go ahead.
sweaty balls. Was that the?
All right, go ahead.
We can talk with that calm voice. This is a really good question that you ask, and it comes in different ways. We've got lots of clients that I think today's consumer is a lot more educated than the consumer of yesteryear, especially with the internet and what's available, and everybody thinks they know everything. But when you look at somebody like me who does hundreds of transactions a year, and then you look at a landowner or a homeowner that does 1 or 2 every 7 years, or even maybe, even a little bit less, maybe moves twice in 30 years, but they think they know everything because, we can save this money. They don't realize that we can get more money based on our marketing strategies than they can get as a for sale by owner. We can siphon through the prospective buyers and make sure that they're qualified before they walk in the door.
Right. You don't want to waste your time. I mean, time is your most valuable.
So when you
commodity,
see
right?
somebody that has a condo for sale and they put it up for sale by owner because they want to save the money, when they don't realize that, well, wait a second, we can get you a lot more money. Your open house is just going to sit there and entertain the old neighbors that are there because they want to walk around and see what happened because so-and-so died and we want to sell it and the family wants to save $3,000 or $4,000 when they're really losing more money. So it's like losing thousands to save pennies.
Yeah.
They don't realize it. But going back to the original question with the pain in the ass buyers, there's some people that come to the table and other agents do it. And this is this is a freaking tough question. Some people will take a listing just to have a listing.
Yes. Is it the psychological feel-good adrenaline rush? I got
Desperate,
a listing, I'm doing
desperate
good.
agents.
Yeah. Well,
Desperate
I think that all
agents.
goes hands in hand. They're desperate. They know it's probably not going to sell at $150,000. They know it's worth $125,000, but they're going to take it anyways.
Their only hope is to get a reduction, and they can talk the guy into it over time. Sometimes that becomes futile. Sometimes you end up being a jerk because you didn't sell the house. Then they go to somebody else, and guess what happens when they go to somebody else? They lowered the price.
Right.
Well, that's not fair, and I'll tell my clients the same thing. You're going to go move to another realtor, and he's going to lower your price when you could have lowered it with me in the first place.
Call
it
you
made
second,
sense.
right?
Right.
Call me second.
We used to tell the banks all the time when the banks started changing their values
And wanting more
and more. I said, give me the listing second.
Yeah.
Don't give it
Get
to me
pissed
today.
off at the first guy because he couldn't sell it way overpriced.
And then
for the
you're
condition
and then
it's
you're
in.
going to come to me because I've already given you the lower value and you didn't listen to me in the first place, and then it ends up happening. So it kind of goes to this point here. Do you ever fire clients? You're damn straight we do.
I mean, at some point, there's.
Look, I can't stand working with you.
I know. You fire me every month.
Yeah.
But I mean, at some point, the return is not worth. I don't want to say the risk, but I mean, the return is not worth the headache.
Who was the one who said it? Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Sure, there you go. I
Okay.
like that one.
Yeah, and we find that a lot. I remember in the beginning years, my partner and I partnered up with a gentleman who was also in the insurance industry. Great guy. His name was Carl. And Carl and I would beat heads. Well, we had a girl who was a friend of my buddies, and my buddy sent her to us. She wanted to buy a house. I showed her 99 houses. Talk about never giving up.
Yeah.
I thought she would never.
She must have been attractive.
I went no. It wasn't even that wasn't even the case. It was. I'm
kidding.
I got so much time invested now. At least let me get
that,
minimum
it's
wage.
that point of
right or less than
my buddy's going through that right now. I don't want to say name. But
Ian Mason, the realtor.
No.
Hi,
Ian's a good buddy of mine.
Hi,
Hi,
Ian.
Ian. But no. But another realtor buddy of mine showed a guy 40 houses. He's at 40 now, and trying to buy in an area where he can't get what he wants for that price because of where the market is.
Because it's not there, and he won't realize.
And at what point do you? And he's at the same point
Yeah.
where I'd like to at least just get a commission and get the money back in gas that I've spent going
Right.
around. It's not going to be a big commission either way.
Right.
And it's like that point of diminishing return. And at what point do you pull the plug?
Yeah.
I mean, you went to 99 times.
I went 99
At what
times,
point?
but this was the beginning of my
that's like putting
career.
out weight and hitting 300 and then 400 and then 500 and 600. At what point do you stop it?
It's when your mindset sets in and says, "Wait a second, enough is enough," and it's the same
Was
thing.
99? Was it 99?
Well, no, it wasn't
when you went to
99.
triple digits, that was going to be a problem?
I went on vacation, and I explained to Carl, we got a problem. This is what's happening. I just want to let you know. So if something comes up while I'm gone, and mind you, this is probably 20 years ago, 18 years ago, so I was fairly new in the industry. Carl shows her one house and sells it to her.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm leaving town more often so that you could sell my clients, because for some odd reason, maybe I talk too much, maybe I explain too much, and then I confuse them too much.
Yeah,
You give people too many choices, and then all of a sudden, I remember, back in the days when I used to sell watches. I mean, everybody laughed. You used to sell watches too? Yeah, I had a freaking suitcase full of phony,
Hey, which one do you want?
phony Rolex watches. I mean, this was 30 years ago. But, when you had two Rolexes, a gold one and a stainless steel one, they had a choice. And all of a sudden, hey, I got a Gucci, I got this, I got that, I got this, I got that. Before you know it, you got 30 choices and nobody's buying anything.
Well, that's part of sales, A or B, right? I was taught that in sales.
It to me, instead of going to school to learn that, I learned that the hard way. I mean, this is back in 1985, where, for 84. I mean, this is...
we have a crazy friend of ours that used to be a realtor. I won't mention any names.
Yeah, you don't have to. I already know who he was just by saying that.
But I would laugh. He'd say, I'm going to show people 4 houses, and if they don't pick one of those, I'm not showing any more houses.
Yeah,
and it
worked.
And it made sense to a point for him. I mean, he's different, but it made a little sense that they told me what they want. They told me all the parameters of the house that they want. If I bring them to 4 houses like that, and they still find something wrong with each one of those, I'm probably not their guy for them. They need to go to somebody else and walk them through 30 homes.
And you know what? It does save a lot of time. It does save a lot of energy.
There's no crystal ball, right?
No,
you don't know if you
there's
keep
really
going.
not.
You don't know if number 5 they're going to buy 6, 7, or 8.
The most important thing is I look at my reputation, because when they're referred to me by somebody, they're looking and saying, Raffin's a superstar. He's really good. He'll pay attention.
Who says that?
Everybody. Everybody.
You didn't even miss a beat.
No,
everybody.
And the thing is I want to give my best all, whether it's $1,000 property, a $2,000 property, $100,000 property, $1 million property.
Well, yeah.
And we go back to what we've been speaking about since the day we started this podcast, relationships. So you want a good relationship. And then when somebody refers you, you want to make sure
That's the hardest thing to cut bait on a referral. You've done well for somebody. They've talked highly about you at a family function or a holiday party and say, this is the guy. And then you can't these people just can't get on the right page. And I mean, they're difficult. And then, at what point?
Well, it's
probably
a
give it
shame
a little
that
longer leash there on those people.
You normally would give it a little bit longer leash, which I would say yes.
But sooner or later, 30, 40 properties, the drive time, the gas, come on.
Especially
if they don't like 30 or 40 properties, they're probably not buying.
Well, when I sold a house in St. Clair Shores and the people wanted to buy in St. Clair. Okay. So we're showing houses in St. Clair.
Yeah.
30-mile road, 32-mile road.
Right.
North of that.
Yeah.
Okay, enough is enough. After 15 houses and 3 of them were exactly what they wanted, you're really not doing this to me.
No.
So basically, we say goodbye, wish you somebody else, whatever. Or if I have a team member that lives a little closer there, I'll have him go on a showing with me, and then basically not in a bad way, but pawn them off.
Yeah. Sometimes, sometimes it's like a baseball player that just can't get it. They got the talent, but they're with the wrong team, and sometimes it just takes a new manager to come in and give a voice. And just a different voice is what I'm getting at. That
Which is true.
Maybe sometimes just a new face, a new voice, and they can get a deal done. I mean, sales is a weird, finicky thing.
It's the personalities.
It's
is
personalities
the whole key,
make a huge thing when it comes to
well,
sales.
like when I go to a listing appointment or a buyer's appointment, when a buyer comes into the office, they're like, well, we're interviewing 3 realtors, and I start laughing at them. I says, you think this is an interview with me? It's not. It's me interviewing you.
Yeah.
I want to see if we're even going to be able to fit to work together.
Right.
I know it sounds a little
You're going for auspicious?
auspicious. I think that
I'm not going to ask for the definition.
no,
but that's okay.
it sounds like underhanded or a little bit, but it's really not. We have to interview the people we're working with, because if our personalities don't match, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
I mean, forget politics, forget race, forget religion. If we don't click, because I don't care what religion you are, I don't care what race you are, I don't care what politics you are. If we could see eye to eye on what your ultimate goal is, then we both win. I get a commission, you get the house you want, everybody's happy.
Yeah.
I never saw anybody complain about making money. Most of them are happy to make money. I did have an agent with me that worked for me. Believe it or not, he goes, I don't want to make $100,000. I just want to be the smartest agent there is. I said, well, you're the dumbest agent that there is if you don't want to make any money, because I get it. Money making is secondary.
Yeah.
Doing what you love doing is more important. But at the end of the day, follow suit, follow the money. If everybody makes money, everybody's happy. Plain and simple.
Okay.
So, I mean, do you say no to people making ridiculous offers on property? You're damn straight I do. Here's a property that we run comparables to, and you want me? We got a call in. We got a call in. Hey.
This is an important call regarding your 2018 online.
I'll edit that out.
Oh, way to call in.
We got. What do you call that? What do you call those?
Telemarketer?
Telemarketer.
Yeah.
We got telemarketers calling our call-in line. Great.
Funny.
Sorry, guys.
So you come to me because you want me to help you find a house. I find you a house, you like the house, but you don't like the price. Then you say to me, what should we offer on the property? Then I run the numbers, okay? And depending on the market, depending on how long the house has been on the market, if it's been on the market a long time, you can come in with a lower offer. If it's been on the market for a short period of time, chances are you can't. But then you look at the values, and let's just use $150,000. So the house is listed for $150,000, and we want to offer $100,000. There's nothing in the neighborhood for $100,000. Well, that's what we want to offer. If you want to offer that kind of number, I'll do it once.
Yeah.
But that's it. I'm not going to waste my time with a buyer that is unrealistic of really what's out there.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to steal things? That's great. This is not the market to steal things
No,
in.
I know that.
If this was 6 years ago, 7 years
Even
ago,
3, 4.
okay,
Yeah,
we'll do that. So we say goodbye to those people too. I think one of the hardest things to do as a realtor is to fire a client. It really was, the first time I ever did it was very, very difficult to me. They don't care about firing you. Why should you care about firing them if they don't give a shit about what you got to say? And because remember, they're not paying for what's on you.
Right.
That's why you don't see me in a 3-piece suit. They're paying for what's between these 2 microphones or these 2 headphones.
Agreed. It's another question.
It is. Okay. So go to the next question. Hold on. Let me check that other one off there. How do you come up with a budget for a flip property?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's a real good question.
Because I do things a bit wild. I don't have really strict budgets.
Because you have unlimited funds.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Many people, would like to think that. I would hope one day, but no, not now. Thanks, Tony. I already get enough
girls.
People.
He's available.
I always get enough people to. Well, I don't know about that, but I get enough people asking me for loans right now and for money. I don't loan money.
Yeah, no.
I invest my money.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'd have to take that and answer it 2 ways. One way from the optic of a new investor and a newbie of how to put a budget together. The second is when you're more seasoned and you've done 100. 100 flips is really a good number, honestly, to where I think like you pretty much have a PhD in flipping. I mean,
pretty much,
in terms of flipping, I'm not saying I can go build new homes. I'm not saying I can add additions on. I don't do that. I take
You're a renovator.
I take the existing
You're not a
structure.
rebuilder,
Yeah,
right.
I take the 4 walls, move things around inside, open things up, renovate what's there, replace what's broke, and put it back on the market. And so in the beginning, if you're a new investor, number one, it's tough because you got to know your number some way, right?
Correct.
So at that point, it's probably getting a lot of estimates. It's probably getting 3 estimates for everything and trying to see where that. So, for instance, I'll use myself for an example of I bought a house a couple months ago, huge tree in the backyard that just had to come down right in the middle of the driveway. And honestly, I haven't really, believe it or not, had to remove many big trees. So I didn't really have a tree guy, right? On my list of menu of guys that I call my granite guy, my carpet guy, I was like, God,
my guy Dan.
I don't have a.
I got a guy for that.
Yeah. So I didn't have a good tree guy. I found one, but I got 3 quotes. Is cliche and corny as it sounds. My first quote was $3,500. My second quote was $2,500, and my third was $18,000. Now I was a little worried at the 18, right? Like, are they going to show up? Are they going to crush my house? Are they going to do the job and finish it?
Are they insured?
Are they insured? But I'll be honest, I got lucky, and he was a phenomenal tree company. I've used them since. His prices are the absolute best, and that's just one guy that you just.
Can you plug him?
Well, yeah, it's Tom Comiskey from Turf and Timber Tree Service. I'll
Write
have
that
to,
down, everybody.
Yeah, Tom Comiskey, Turf and Timber. I mean, the guy is a legit guy, St. Clair Shores guy, and took down a tree 3 feet wide. 3 of my houses now, trimmed a bunch of stuff, cleans up. His guys are good, so it was one of those great contacts that I didn't have that now you add to the menu of. And so the next house I'm doing now in Harper Woods, I needed another big tree. It just so happened that it was like 2 in a row.
You ain't chopped any trees down in 100 houses,
I
and
know.
now you got 2 in a row.
I had 3 actually.
3 in a row.
Yeah, the one big one at Washington, I had to take
Oh,
a couple
my
down
God.
too. So, anyways, if you're a new investor, get multiple bids on things, carpet, granite. Some of the stuff you just got to do. I mean, putting trim in and putting tile down and things like that. If you're going to do the work yourself, you just do the work yourself and see where the budget adds up. Go to Home Depot, walk the aisles. I know this sounds really stupid, but whenever I get a chance, I'm going to sound like a complete loser. I'll walk the aisles of Menards, Lowe's, and Home Depots for new ideas. I feel like I just lost microphone, Mike.
Are
Should
we
we keep
off?
talking or no? Hello?
Hello.
I can't hear any.
Oh, I'm
there
back.
We're back
Okay,
out.
hold on. 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
It's like I was saying.
we lost that one there.
Like I was saying, is get multiple bids, and I said I'll walk the aisles of Menards, Lowe's, and Home Depot, and literally just get ideas. They'll get new products in. They'll get Home Depot will start selling shiplap, or they'll start selling a certain type of stone for cultured stone.
Yeah.
It's like so.
Weathered wood.
Yeah,
barn door wood,
barn doors,
Barn
things
doors.
like that. So walk the aisles. If you're serious about being an investor, which if you're watching this show, you probably are, educate yourself. Look at magazines. I'll sit at night on the couch and Google kitchen island ideas, kitchen renovation ideas, bathroom renovation ideas. Pinterest.
If you're not on Pinterest, you're making a big mistake. Pinterest will set more ideas up for you than probably anywhere else. You can Google or you can Pinterest Google or kitchen island. Sorry, I keep saying Google. Google. Yeah. You can Pinterest barn doors. I'm going to tell you what. When we did the rehab on the Westbury house, my wife did it based on Pinterest. Went bananas.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at this.
Look at the color scheme.
Colors,
you know?
colors, and design.
That's the biggest thing is design, and then the color scheme has to match with the design in some sense. Am I pulling my cord out?
I don't know what's going on.
Am I back? Am I back on? Okay. I feel like I keep pulling my cord.
No, we're good.
We're good?
Yeah. So colors.
Sorry, we're
design,
having some
scheme.
technical difficulties. Stand by.
We're looking for a new podcast center.
No, we're not.
Hey now.
Hey,
We paid our bill.
did we?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, okay.
So I mean,
So let me wrap up the questions I got. So newbie, get estimates, get 3 estimates, educate yourself, go to Home Depot, see what the tile costs, see what the thin set costs, see what the spacers and the sponge and the grout cost, see what the backsplash tile costs. Put together a very, very structured, take a day and put together every single thing you think that needs to go in that home. Cabinets. Don't forget little things like knobs. Handles.
they're more expensive than
$200,
people.
$300,
$700.
Well,
I paid.
mean, of
But
course,
yes,
you got to have the Cadillac of everything.
Yeah, of
but,
course.
I mean, you could do Home Depot for 100, but it's still $150.
It is.
People that's the problem is people get near the end of their project with the last week, and I do the same thing. And I'm thinking, I've got $100,000 in this house. I'm pretty much done. and another $5,000 honestly comes
in punch list
and
shit.
just we forgot a bifold door, we forgot this, some
Vent
garage,
registers,
vent
whatever.
registers,
Caulking.
shoe. Okay, there's the base is down and the case is in the
Now you
doors.
gotta put the shoe
put the
in.
shoe boley, and you need 500 linear feet. So it's
$2 a foot,
yeah,
whatever.
It
$1 a
adds
foot, yeah.
up. It really adds up. As a seasoned investor, you should know your numbers. I really don't even go in with much of a budget now at this point because I know roughly, given the square footage of the home, what I'm going to do
You're
with the
spending
home.
$50,000,
I'm
that's it.
spending 40 to 50 grand, give or take. But I buy the house with such a big margin that it's okay if I'm under $5,000 or if I'm over.
But how many
$5,000.
times have you bought a house and all of a sudden, surprise!
Happens all the time.
You open up a wall, there's a crack,
All the
this and
time.
that, a plumbing,
Yeah.
and all.
Talk to other investors how to come up with a budget. I have guys call me all the time. Not that I really have time to go around and put together budgets for people, but I have people call and ask me to come by and check out their flip and see what I think of this and should I do this bathroom or not do this bathroom. Tap into the resources that you have. Tap into realtors that you know, other investors that you know, friends that are in the construction trades, mom, dad, uncle, grandpa, whatever. I mean, if you're talking about a lot of money that you're investing in a project, flipping a house is not easy. A lot of people think it's easy, right?
It's not easy.
And it's the farthest
No.
thing from doing one house.
Right.
And your first house is the hardest. So
I've done a few.
Yeah.
I've done
And it's
I've done more than a few. But what I've done good.
yeah.
Over the top, probably, because that's
Yeah.
usually how
A
I
lot
am.
of them, though, you're the more renovate while you live in it kind of thing, and then sell.
Yes, correct.
For the most part, so you're going to put a little added upgrades in
Because you're enjoying them
you're enjoying
yourselves,
it,
right.
you're living in it, you're getting a lot of value back there.
Right.
So,
So it comes back.
let's see. Let's get another one over to Tony. Did I hit this one already? Why is it so hard for new agents to break into the market and have long-term success, especially in this market? This is a weird market.
It is a weird
I was
market
just texting
right
with
now.
a friend of mine that's a realtor, not Ian Mason. Hi, Ian.
Hi, Ian Mason.
But it really wasn't.
I know.
But you always just think it's Ian because I'm always eating lunch with him.
I love Ian.
We love Ian. He's
Yeah.
going to come on the show. We have
He's
to
my
have him on the
We
show.
should have him on the show. He's my competition, and he's still my friend. And
Wow.
we don't look. There's enough business out there. I think Paul Apostolakis said it a couple weeks ago. If I controlled 100% of the market, then it would be a problem if he took 1% away from me. But we don't.
Yeah.
So there's so much business out there, and people want to be so competitive. It's like, man, like your other realtors, enjoy it, partner. But there's certain things I'm not going to tell to a local realtor, but when I go to
Sure.
a convention and I get an idea from somebody from Texas and I'll give them an idea that I have, we could share ideas with people that are not using here in Michigan, but somebody in another state because they're not competing against us. I try not to share too many ideas with local people.
Well, yeah. At the end of the day, in your backyard, it's like me. I really have to be careful about not creating competition in my own backyard. These properties are getting harder and harder to find.
Competition does
But
breed success.
It does, but honestly, I still go help people and still walk through the house and tell them what to do or what not to do. And
Right.
give them advice. I don't want to see them lose money.
No, and that's the, and
No.
that and I think once again it goes back to building the relationships. Once again, we keep going back to the relationships. But read that question to me one more time so I can finish it.
Why is it so hard for new agents to break into the market and have long-term success?
Because they're looking at the short term. 28 years ago, a man by the name of Klaus Prost, who was my neighbor, my mentor, told me that I should sell real estate. And he told me, don't do it for the money. Do it because you love doing it. I'll never, ever, ever, God rest his soul, Klaus died at a young age. He was the epitome of a gentleman. He was probably one of the baddest ass realtors you could ever know, God rest his soul. And he told me, don't do it for the money, do it because you love doing it. The money comes, and money comes over time. And Zig Ziglar said it takes 7 years to become a superstar in any profession. So you're not going to be a superstar overnight. A lot of these people that you'll see on other podcasts and stuff like that, or on TV, or even billboards, all they're doing is throwing a ton of money at advertising and hoping something sticks to the wall.
Right.
That's not what it is. How about not advertising and see what you get?
Yeah.
See if you can get anything. I like a more personal approach. I don't want to be the king of real estate. I want to be my own little prince of my own little
domain.
That's it. Because I don't have what it takes to do it on that massive level because I'm not. Mentally, I'm not there. I don't want to be there. I want to be personal with the people that I
But
deal
what
with.
is making it hard for new agents in this market to have long-term success? You see a lot come in.
Because they come in underfunded. It's the reason most businesses fail. Most businesses fail within the first 5 years because of undercapitalization. If you're a realtor and you made it more than 5 years, chances are you're going to be a pretty decent realtor. How many realtors are really superstars? Very few.
It seems like there's this here and not a whole lot in the middle now.
Well, I mean,
you got guys doing 5 or 10 deals a year, then you got guys doing 80 to 100.
a good realtor does 40 deals a year. That's a very successful realtor.
Yeah.
I haven't done 40 deals in a year in, God,
You do more.
18 years. Oh, yeah. I mean, last year was a good year. I think we did 180
So what advice do you give to a new realtor? Should they go right on their own and walk into a brokerage? Should they work with a team?
Work with a team or have a good trainer, somebody that can guide you in the right direction. Work with a good team for a few years.
They got to view it as like going to college for 4 years, don't they?
If you think you're going to be a realtor and pay your $200 or $250 to take a real estate course that's 40 hours, and you think you're going to become a superstar, spending $250 and 40 hours, oh, I'm a realtor, now I'm going to be a multimillionaire, that doesn't happen. It's just like you said. Put your time in.
Yeah.
We make more money than doctors, some of us. We make more money than lawyers. How long did a doctor go to school? 4 years of college, 4 years of med school, 4 years of residency. You got 12 years. Trust me, this didn't happen to me overnight. This probably took me 1994, about 10 years.
Yeah.
And then it started clicking, and then it was just like a machine.
Yeah.
Because you've put all those seeds in the ground where they needed to go. People know. And nobody wants to work with a fresh realtor, because if they find out you're a fresh realtor, you don't know shit.
Right.
Because you got your real estate license? No, you learned that people will tell you when you go to get your real estate license, all it is about passing the test. We got you enough to pass the test. That's it. It's not.
Are you taking on new members on your team?
We always look for new members, but it's got to be somebody special. Somebody's not afraid to work. Somebody's going to work their ass off and put in their dues.
I just want viewers to know if anybody's watching and they've got somebody that just went through and got their realtor's license, or with another brokerage.
Realtor.
Realtor.
Yeah, it's not a realtor. It's
There's
a real,
no way.
No, it's
Realtor.
realtor. Yeah, realtor.
Okay. Al Block.
Sorry, yeah, Al Block was here.
Al Block sitting here saying that.
He's probably cringing right now.
Oh, he's listening. And
yes,
he's
of course.
Smiling.
Yeah,
he's smiling.
So I mean, yeah, we would look. We always look for good people, and then you figure you're going to stay with a team for 2 to 5 years,
3 to 5, yeah,
whatever. I mean, at least 2 to 3, at least, and then you get the momentum going, and then we've put a lot of people on the street that have done good. Who they are.
Yeah,
they still
it's
call
tough,
you.
right? It's like a farm team that has a lot of success and a great coach, and coaches his players up. Sooner or later, they're going to the big leagues, right?
Well, they become your competition, but that's I remember
that just happens in your business. It seems like
it does. Several.
There's a right and wrong way to do it.
That's correct. There was a teacher years ago, and most realtors would know her name was Marge Frazier, and once again, God rest her soul. She may not have been a great realtor, but she was the best teacher. And she used to make me sit in the front of the class because I always talked too much, and she'd have to shut me up and hit my head and stuff like that. But she goes, "You sit right here. I don't want you turning around," because I always had something to add. I was always trying to be part of the conversation or part of the what was going on.
Yeah.
Because I think the more you interact, the better the feel, or the better you get out of the
personality goes a long way. I mean,
the personality was enough, but I remember she used to always say, how much money do you want to make a year? Well, I said, I want to make $100,000. That was my goal. $100,000.
Yeah.
Now it's like welfare. I mean, it's not, but you get the idea. Yeah. So I mean, she used to always say, let's back the numbers out. Okay, based on, you talk to 100 people and 2 people buy a house. That means you got to talk to 100 people to sell 2 houses. And if your average commission is $4,000 a house, that means $8,000 for every 2 houses. So you got to sell 2 to 3 houses a month, which means how many people you got to talk to? Oh, you got to talk to you got to talk to 250 people. Well, 250 people divided by 30 days, you got to talk to so many people per day. And it's like, back the numbers out, get on the phone, do what you need to do, and call your people. Hell, just pick up the damn phone and call your friends and say, this is what I do. If you can support me, or if you know anybody that can support me, please let me know. Once again, they don't want to do that. They think that social media is the key, which social media is really big, but all it is a select group of people watching you do videos and take pictures.
Yeah.
What can you really back up your knowledge with? It takes time, and a lot of them are not willing to wait.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I told my other buddy that's a realtor, not Ian.
Not Ian Mason.
Ian.
We love Ian.
I love Ian.
Yeah.
But no, I talked to a lot of realtors, you know. I just talked to Ian a lot.
Yeah.
But, and I talked to you a lot, and Paul, and a handful of you guys.
Yeah.
But
Paul who?
Fujimoto.
Oh, Fuji. Hi,
Big
Fuji.
6'2" Japanese guy. You never see
I never saw a 6'2" Japanese guy.
He's always out on his boat.
Yeah, I know.
The guy does well, does a lot of business, but he's always on his
He's
boat.
always on his boat.
I'm jealous.
I got a boat. I can't use
He's
it.
never on it.
Yeah.
But he's all over the place too. The guy will go. What I admire about Paul is hard worker. The guy will go to like Sanilac, Ann Arbor. I mean, you will too.
I do too.
But like he's in his little Prius. The guy's like an hour and a half away. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like talking to him. Like, where
Well, he used
at?
to make fun of me because his Prius was a limousine compared to my smart car.
Yeah.
You know, so he's like, here's the limo. That's Raffin.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, God.
Yeah, but anyways, my point.
He does what he needs to do. And
Well, he hustles.
Yes.
And I use him and you guys as an example that I have younger agents I'll have lunch with and talk to them, and they'll be like, yeah, I don't know if I should drive all the way to Shelby Township to handle this listing. I'm like, Shelby Township?
the majority,
I'm like, I know guys that'll drive to, Ann Arbor.
absolutely.
Plymouth,
I drove to Ann
Canton.
Arbor. I drove Canton. I drove to Plymouth. I drove to Wyandotte. I drove to Taylor.
To make
I
a
drove
$10,000 or
to St.
$15,000 commission? How
I
do
go
you
to
not?
Port Huron.
Yeah, Port Huron.
It's-
So,
we do what we need to do as long as it's not out of my area and that I don't understand what the area is. If I
it's
know
gotta be
the
worth it too,
well, sometimes it doesn't really matter if it's worth it. Believe it or not, I sold a biker garage for a biker gang that the feds took away from this biker gang. It was a garage on a piece of property in Port Huron. I sold it for $12,000, and it's like I had to drive out to Port Huron quite a few times. But listen, guess what? They liked me so much they gave me a $2 million property down in Wyandotte or down in Ypsilanti, and I sold that. So you make $60,000 on one, you make $600 on another one.
Wow.
If you do it for the deal,
Yeah.
you're going to go broke.
Yeah.
If you do it for the relationship you have, you will continue to do well. You will continue to do good. But it's all long term. If you take this business on at the short term, you're going to be like one of the statistics. And the biggest statistic is when the unemployment rate is high, everyone becomes a realtor. And when the unemployment rate is low, they quit being a realtor and they go back to some
private
normal job.
sector.
Yes,
Yep.
whatever they do. And we will go from 15,000 agents to 6,000 agents to
over
4,000.
the next 24 months, right?
When you see a downturn in the economy, you will see an uptick in real estate agents. When you see an uptick in the economy, you'll see a downturn in real estate agents. It's just fact. It happens all the time. It's cyclical, and that's the way it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much more time we got left?
12 minutes.
I only got 5.
5.
I got it. Okay, we got how many? We got 5
We got
minutes.
5 minutes
Okay, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. I got a really, really good one.
Okay.
Okay. We've talked about this a couple times, and we'll still have one more show with some questions, but this is a really good one. How do you deal with a low appraisal on a property that you are selling? And we've been talking about this for the last 3 weeks.
Oh, well, sometimes you just get out the bottle of Vaseline and you oops, and you take it.
Thank God we're an adult show, folks.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I mean, depending on the situation, whether you have other properties coming that you've put earnest monies down and you need these funds to buy this, and the profit margin here is so much higher than here, you just take the low appraisal, move on with it. I mean, listen, you get a low appraisal back, you get that dreaded call or text from the realtor saying, "Yeah, we got to chat," or I'll call you later. Bad news. Appraisal came back low. Number one, you look it over with your agent and you try to understand why it came in low, because obviously you think your property is worth what somebody's going to pay for it.
Correct.
At that point, you try to fight it, right? I'll let you get into more because I'm not an actual realtor. I'll let you get into the ways that you fight it and try to get it amended or raised and try to justify the value. That's probably step 2. Number 3, you can always try to get the buyer, which is really hard to go with a different lender if it's not FHA. If it's FHA, you're stuck with that appraisal.
We've had that problem before.
Yeah, if you're stuck with FHA, if it's an FHA loan, pretty much you either take that appraisal or the deal's dead because you're stuck with that appraisal for any FHA buyer for 6 months. If the appraiser doesn't raise the appraisal, because that's option number 2. Number 1 is just taking it. Number 2 is fighting it. If the appraiser doesn't raise it, number 3 would possibly be to get the buyer to go to a different lender if it's
unless it's an FHA loan.
I just went over that.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
busy on your phone. I just said that 4 times. I said,
just
if it's,
reiterating.
I'm kidding with you. If it's conventional loan, you could try to get them to go to another lender. If they really want the house, and you say I'm not selling it at this, and they say we want it, it'll delay the process about 2 weeks, right? Because now they get
Right.
the buyers.
And I've done that
The
before.
buyer's got to get all. I've done it with a buyer. The buyer's got to get all their docs to the new lender, order the new appraisal. The inspection should already be done, and all those issues should be hashed out. So you're probably 2-3 weeks now that you've delayed it. Or number 4 is you just go ahead and I think I said or
Swallow
number
the
4
pill.
you put it back. Well, no, that was number 1. You swallow the pill.
Yeah. Well, no, yours was Vaseline. Mine's swallowing the pill.
Number 4 is you put it back on the market. You kill the deal. You put it back on the market. You can't get the appraisal raised. You can't get the buyer to go with a different lender and get a new appraisal. Deal's dead. Goes back on the market. Get a new buyer. Obviously, get a new appraisal at that point when you get your next offer. And really, appraisals, there's human error, right? They're subjective. Everybody admits to that.
Appraisals are all based on a certain period of time and one man's opinion or one woman's opinion at a certain point in time in the marketplace. And when you have a market like right now, as you noticed before, we're transitioning a little bit. We're not really a seller's market anymore.
Yeah, I'm feeling
I'm
it.
seeing people listing the same homes that they think what you were getting for, and they're like,
That's the
"Oh, if Kevin
problem.
got it, I can
That
get
was
it." And
the
it's like,
problem.
dude, you've already got 4 price reductions.
Yeah.
You're not getting it.
I think people think the market's slowing and stagnating a bit, but I don't think it is. I think the fact is I go into an area and pull $200,000 for a house that's done with pot filler and slide-in range and all new,
But everything.
increase in upgraded moldings and this, that, and the other. I mean, move in ready, you bring your couch in,
Right.
and then you have like 3 to 4 people on the same street that say,
Well, if he can get it, I can get it.
"My house is nice.
Yeah.
We renovated back in '99. It's nice."
We had one of the feedbacks came in yesterday for one of this house. These people thought it's just bad to the bone,
Yeah.
and it's like, no, it's not. You know,
Your house ain't that great.
No, you're
It's not- it's
you're
not.
900 square feet. You're not 1,100 square
Yeah.
feet, and no, yeah, you got granite, but it doesn't flow. It doesn't this,
Yeah.
and then the agent says, and they need to clean the house. You know, your houses are professionally cleaned
Yeah.
before you let anybody in.
Yeah.
So people, I don't think, take into consideration what you did on a rehab, considering everything is brand new.
Well, they don't. They just don't know better. They think that house on the street got 200,000. My house is comparable size, square footage, rooms, garage, basement. So my house is going to be worth 195.
Well, we just had the same hit last week for us. You know,
Yeah.
we got our house for 295, and they gave us a 280 because that's what they got down the street. Yet down the street didn't have a finished basement, didn't have the egress window, didn't have the canal in the backyard. So you take those into consideration, and there's different rules that appraisers have to follow, and the biggest one is bracketed comps.
Yeah.
The only way that you're going to get out of a bracketed comp situation is to sell cash.
Right.
Or to have an appraisal guarantee. Where
Well, that's a
somebody
good
comes
one.
up with more
I mean,
money,
we
so.
just went over the 4 ways, really, that you deal with a shortfall in appraisal. It's not a fun time. You hope that it gets raised up to value. The appraiser sees that he made an error and didn't use a comp that you provide, and you move forward and you get your money. But
So, Kevin,
I think that's it.
that's it for today
That's it
because
for
we
this
ran out of
week.
time. We had some technical difficulties over there. How do we get a hold of
We'll
you?
be back. Well, if you have a house you want to sell for cash, be done with it quick in 5 days. If you know a neighbor, if you know a friend, somebody unfortunately passed away, they just want to get rid of this rental property, that's a problem. Give me a call. I'll buy it cash within 5 to 7 days as soon as we do title work at 586-855-4041, or go to my Facebook page, Cash the number 4 Your House Now. Cash the number 4 Your House Now. And likewise, Tony, if somebody has a house they want to buy, if they have a house they want to put on the market, an investor wants to get a hold of you, somebody wants to come work for your team that's a good, young, hardworking, doesn't have to be young.
No.
Yeah, just a good,
Hardworking
hardworking
person.
Dedicated hustler, how do they get a hold of you?
586-773-4400. Give us a call anytime, or our website, www.talktotony.com. And make sure that you guys, if you enjoyed this show and you got something out of it, share it with your friends. Find us on Stitcher, on iTunes, on Google Play, and on SoundCloud. Fixitandflipit.com.
We'll be back next week with a guest
You got it.
in the studio.
We'll see you next week.
Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Fix It and Flip It.